How do you create a system that you actually use that will save you a ridiculous amount of time? That's what we're going to go over in today's video. So if you haven't ever heard of it yet, an SOP is called a standard operating procedure, and I feel like it is the core of you creating a system in your business. Now, I hope you know why systems are really, really important in your business, but just in case you don't, let me put this scenario to you. What happens if tomorrow you get in a car accident? I know that sucks. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to really go super deep into this, but if you did, most entrepreneurs would be screwed. So don't feel bad if that is you, because literally most of you that are listening right now have this as a problem. So if you couldn't actually work, usually no money comes in your business, or all hell breaks loose in your business. And we don't want either of those things to happen. So we create standard operating procedures so other people can learn and know how to run your systems without you. That's why this will also save you a lot of time. So let me start going through so we can, at the end of this video, have exactly what you need so you can make your very first standard operating procedure, or if you've already started them, how to really level them up, because we're going to do it the right way. Not the crazy, if you look this up and Google this, it's kind of insane. You'll actually see tons of different huge company type of SOP documents that nobody wants to read. The only thing that I care about is that you actually use this, because if you spend your time doing this and then never actually use it, yeah, that's pointless. You don't have time for that. So step number one, I want you to think of the last 5 problems you have had in your business. It could be tech issues or password issues, or it could be something bigger like client issues, work that was able to be done and wasn't done well enough. Start thinking about the last 5 pretty big issues that you had that took quite a bit of your time and or brain space, like if it stressed you all the heck out. Okay, and I want you to write those down. And by the way, you can definitely download the worksheet and guide for this. If you go to eventualmillionaire.com/SOP, it's all written down, so you can just fill it out. It'll be a little bit easier than trying to do this as I say it in the video. So check that out. So write down those 5, okay? The only reason why we care is we want to start prioritizing and fixing the biggest problems first. That's what's going to save you the most time and money in the longer term. Let's implement the ones that matter the most. So now what I want you to do for step 2 is actually organize them. Which one of those 5 problems was the worst? Which one lost you a ridiculous amount of time? Which one comes up over and over and over again? Which one lost you money? Usually that bumps it up in priority for certain. Okay, when you make that list, and in that SOP guide, don't get me wrong, it's got a huge list of them. You can go ahead and take a look just in case you're having some issues trying to figure out what would work. So let's say it's passwords, and you're like, oh my gosh, my team doesn't have my passwords again, and I had to send this again, and then I couldn't find it, so I had to reset it, but then I didn't get the email in time, so, right? And that's a simple one. Usually losing money is way worse, but let's just say that's it. So what I want you to do then, and I'm a very visual person, this is how I like to do it. You can skip this step, but I highly, highly recommend it. We want to map it out visually. So go through the process of what should happen. What is the way, ideally, that you want this to work? Okay, you don't want passwords to ever have to come to you. You want everybody on your team to deal with this without you, and you not being the bottleneck on any of this. So what you would do, and I have huge whiteboards in the back, I would map this completely out in like a flow chart. And we want to start asking some very specific questions. So some of the questions are, what needs to happen first? Okay, what are some of the prequels? What are those things that really matter that has to happen beforehand? What are some specific passwords or software that we need to use within this procedure? Because it could be a pretty lengthy one. It could be a whole client onboarding experience, which can be pretty lengthy. And you want to make sure that you get all of the pieces and parts laid out exactly how you want it before we go into the nitty-gritty of making this SOP. Okay, a couple other questions are, what visuals or videos might need to be created to explain to somebody how to do this? Okay, and what we're trying to do is really get the brass tacks. We want to make this as easy as humanly possible for somebody who doesn't even know your business to be able to come in and go, all right, I understand. I need to go here. Here's the link. This is what it looks like. I need to click here. Perfect. We're making instruction manuals for all of your systems. Now, your team is going to get better and better and better at it. So it's not as though they have to know and see the image every single time. They'll get used to it. They'll know it so well. This will just be the system. And that's what we want. But we don't want them coming to you every 5 seconds going, oh, shoot, is this, what's the next step? Because that is what has a tendency to happen, especially with virtual assistants, because you're not right there. You can't say, oh, all you have to do is click, 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 and you do this and blah, blah, blah. Thankfully, we have videos, we have tons of software. Jing is a great one, by the way, that can record 5-minute videos. So just go Google Jing and you can start making videos to put into your SOPs. I also highly recommend, once you get into this a little bit deeper, to really organize this. And that SOP guide that I was talking about will really go into a lot more detail. But we're only worried about the first one. So the next step, once you have it completely laid out, however you need to lay it out, step by step, flow-charted process in general. Usually for me, it's like a bunch of squigglies. Once you do that, I want you to download the SOP template, which you get at that same link, eventualmillionaire.com/SOP. And it actually will walk you through step by step. So at the beginning, we talk about the prerequisites, just like we mentioned before. We talk about who owns this one, who's responsible for certain tasks. You don't have to name names in this. It could also be like, hey, the owner of the company has to do this piece and the assistant has to do this piece. Then we get into the procedures. And that's all laid out in the document. We want to do it step by step by step with as many visuals as you can. And there's definitely an example included on that, so you can take a look at that. And then I personally prefer having a checklist at the end. So that way your team can look at it extremely quickly and go, oh, okay, I got that done, I got that done, I got that done. And those are the things that they should be most likely working off of because they'll know the procedure. So I hope that was really helpful. I want you to actually take this action today. If you're watching this video, there is a reason. Don't be one of those people that are an information hoarder that you listen to it. You're like, oh, thanks, Jamie, that was great. I might download the template and then forget all about it. No, all I want you to do is take an hour today, start one SOP. So that way you can really move forward and really start working on your business instead of in it, because you will never reclaim your time unless you start doing this. So again, go to eventualmillionaire.com/SOP and we'll tell you exactly what to do, and make sure you make time for it today, or at least put it in your calendar for tomorrow or the next day. Otherwise, you just wasted 5 minutes. Okay, if you have a fantastic day, let me know if you have any questions at all. Take care. Bye.